everybody. Kevin Broughton coming at you from Success Unlimited. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a really special guest today. And if you haven't tuned into our platform recently, or even if you have, this series is called Front Page Success. And this gentleman that we're about to meet and talk to today is the definition of success. He's done an unbelievable job of building a sustainable and repeatable business model. He's top 1% of all loan originators in the country. And we're lucky to not only partner with him and have him as a friend, but to be able to learn from him today on some of the things he's done to create a real business. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, Mr. John Fleig. John, how are you?
Good, Kev. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thanks so much for being on. Our mission here at Success Unlimited is to help as many loan originators nationwide, regardless of where they work, just maybe pick up a nugget or a tidbit or a tool or a strategy that they could implement to help them have a better business, because we feel that if we can help all boats rise, we all win. And I know that you never have like a small mindset. You always have a big mindset. And I know that that is part of why you're so successful. But if you don't mind, could you share with the group just kind of how you got started in this business and what your first job in the mortgage industry was?
Sure. It's probably it's a very lengthy story, so I'll narrow it down a little bit. I've been in the mortgage business going on 32 years this October. Right out of college, my background was I was studying for my MCATs, and my dad was involved in the mortgage business many years. So he told me, hey, you know what, why don't you give this a shot? If not, you can go to med school and have about $500,000 in student loans. Yeah. So I gave this a shot, and I've been doing it ever since. We've been with SMP going on 4 years, I believe, in December, right?
Yeah, December.
And I've been with CLG and Sue out of our Pennsylvania office going on 9 years this August. And prior to joining Sue, I ran my own brokerage shop for about 10 years. So yeah. I made the change over to Sue's. And then, we joined your Success, and it's been nothing but great things for us. So,
well, we're the lucky ones. And I remember that day when we met, and you didn't know us and we didn't know you. I know there was some trepidation and some skepticism, like would be from any normal person. But I think it's been a win-win because, as you know, in this industry, you got to have resources, and sure. There's a certain size point where those resources become available, and until you get to that size, they're just not available because the revenue's not there. And so I think that hopefully we've been able to bring some resources to make everyone's life a little bit easier on your end. But how, John, in 2020 and 2021, a lot of people made a lot of money in our industry.
Right.
And when you could go to the grocery store and 9 out of 10 guys or gals in line could benefit from your service, it was a little bit easier than it is today. I read an article yesterday, which is shocking, but in Q2 nationwide, there was 53% fewer closings than in Q2 last year. 53%, which is a pretty shocking number. Yet you're going to do 50 million again this year, and you're crushing it again. How have you been able to do that when so many others haven't?
Well, not just me. I have 3 licensed loan officers on my team that do their own production, and they have the same mindset. Paul Arena, for example, great producer, young guy, a go-getter. I think last year, it's no secret the mortgage industry had a great year. Loan officers had a great year. But I really wanted to get back to basics last year because COVID really scared me with how fast the industry can change overnight. We dealt with it, right?
Overnight, yeah. It was the scariest part of my life too, yeah.
Sure. I can't even imagine how many telephone calls you and Owen had gotten over 2 or 3 days with those changes. So I really wanted to get back to basics, and that was as many touches with realtors on a personal basis every single day. I think we have gotten away from that a little bit. And it's very important that you establish those relationships. So last year, I really had the mindset my team did is a lot of loan officers built a great income last year, Kev, but they didn't build their business. They were taking the easy loans, the refinances, and not really concentrating on their key business, which is purchases, because that will always be there. So sure, I could have probably did a little bit more, but I concentrated on building my business. So at one point, we were dealing with about 100 buyers at a time, tracking 100 buyers. And I think my business could have grown more, but we were limited by the marketplace, right? There was an inventory to support the amount of buyers that we had. Now, the biggest detriment, I don't want to say detriment, but the biggest turning point in our industry is probably the best thing that happened to myself and my team, because now we have less competition because a lot of the refinance companies have gone out of business.
Yes, yeah.
The inventory has ticked up a little bit, and that's probably a product of the interest rates going up.
Yep.
Now, we have seen my pipeline of buyers decrease a little bit, but now, we're taking less shots, but we're hitting more of them. So we used to submit offers. We must have submit like 50 offers a week and maybe get 5,
Right.
And that was a constant complaint. But now we're submitting maybe about 20 offers a week and hitting 10. So with my team and I, so we're getting a higher percentage. So this downturn in the market has really been a blessing for my team because we positioned ourselves very well last year.
And that's a huge takeaway. So everyone tuning in, please remember that takeaway. The markets are going to change and we can't do anything to control that. You can't call the Fed tomorrow and ask for 3% rates again, and neither can I. We can't control what kind of liquidity there is in the secondary market to buy these loans. All of that stuff is stuff we can't control. But my biggest takeaway so far that you've said is you could have done more last year had you focused on the low-lying fruit a little heavier, but instead you chose to implement the tried and true business principles that you knew would carry you through any market.
Right.
And that spurred on your growth this year. Correct?
Yes, exactly right. My core business is purchases. That's what we concentrated on. We didn't take the easy loan because they're one and done. They're very finite as far as that pipeline is concerned. So like I said, we still have all these buyers that we're still working with right now and the realtors, and now we're getting offers accepted. So we were well positioned coming into this marketplace.
So for everyone, again, tuning in, please understand this. I just recently did a short series on 3 things: on clarity, on focus, on execution. And John Fleig is an absolute living proof of how important that is, because think about 24 and 12 months ago. You became clear on who you were and what your mission was going to be. You got focused into eliminating low revenue producing activities, replacing them with high revenue producing activities. And then you executed by removing roadblocks and firming up your team and doing all the things execution wise to keep those relationships going versus abandoning them for the low-hanging fruit. And look at what it produced this year. So
Absolutely.
For anyone that doesn't believe that clarity, focus, and execution is important in your own business, I think John is living proof that that's an inaccurate belief, because you do that every day. And when you started that a couple of years ago, it led to the year you're having today. And I'm on the phone all day, every day, hearing about these sob stories about people who used to make 300 grand, they're now making 60 grand. And the fact is, you have a chance to outdo what you did last year.
Exactly. We're on pace. There was a couple months where the market kind of adjusted with inventory. So we took a little bit of a step back. Now that has caught up with us, we're on pace as far as production to match last year.
Yeah, it's an incredibly good story. Can you speak a little bit about your team? Because everyone on these calls wants a team or has a team. And I've yet to meet one loan officer who says, I love being the Lone Ranger and playing every instrument in the band, and I like having no help. I've never really met anyone that said that. But building a team and managing a team and motivating a team and getting a team to buy into your mission is so much harder than the average person in our industry thinks it's going to be when they start out to do it. Can you speak a little bit to what your team's become, but maybe some of the pitfalls too, because we learn more from our failures than our successes, right?
Right. Sure. So, and my team is instrumental in my daily activities. I've always pictured myself as the big picture guy, and it was hard for me to pull myself away from micromanaging my files, because you have a fire and it kind of derails your whole day.
Yeah.
Well, they've really filled in the gap for me, and they know, and they're licensed loan officers too. I have Kevin Hollenbach and Ed Duarte that work on my team on the front end, and they handle their own production too. They're knowledgeable. They're great people. They know my business. They know who I do business with, and my business partners, my referral partners, really feel comfortable with them also talking to them. They keep me on pace. They do the little things every single day that I can't get done. I have really pulled myself away from delving into files and becoming the rainmaker. I think that's very important, right? So my job is every single day when I get into this office about 8 o'clock, I'm in Keller Williams right now, is I go and try to talk to every agent I can right now to see, what they have going on. Is, do they need my help with everything? Hey, I have a busy day today, but I want to get on your files right away. So what are we working on? So we're still getting probably about 3 to 4 leads a day as far as buyers are concerned. And then I turn them over to them, and they'll do all the legwork for me, and then pass along the information to me for me to finally get my eyes on it and go talk to the agent on what we're dealing with. I think when you run your own business, because that's what we do, Kev, right? We run. It's not only important to know what you're good at, but also what you're not good at. So, that was something that took me a long time to realize, is that I need people that are good at what I'm not. And these guys are very detail oriented. They keep me on pace. They keep me focused. And I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without their help every single day.
Without a doubt. And I happen to know each of those guys on the front end. They're both great people, sure. But it's your leadership. And I talk about this all the time. And the reason they know who you do business with and care about their relationships as much as you do is because of leadership. If you were a poor leader, they would leave at 5 o'clock. They would make that call an hour later. They would do this. They wouldn't do the things that they do. And that's because you got them to buy into this mission of operational exceptionalism and everything you care about. So anyone watching, please don't forget how important it is to lead those guys, because if you don't, you wouldn't have the same result. I know they're great guys, but no one can create exceptionalism without leadership. And I think that's where you've really grown in the years that you've built this team, because you used to probably, I can do that better than him, and I'm going to step in, and I got the Smith file and all that. But until you trust and let go, you can't focus on the things you're focused on this morning at Keller Williams if you were so worried about the Smith file, correct?
Yes, that's a great point too. We always hear about customer experience. I mean, that's the catchphrase in every industry. And, I'm always excited when we get a 5-star rating, but that's not just because of me. That's because of my team. We got that 5-star rating, and they really do buy into every touch counts when we talk to a client. Yes. Every conversation is important, and every transaction is important too. Every transaction is important because every deal we close, we try to leverage that as much as possible with every party involved there. And I'm very thankful that we are not afraid to ask for business. That's a key point. That's a very key point that a lot of people miss in this industry. You have to ask for that business. So
I think the difference is, and I'd love everyone to really, really get clear on this. Because of the experience you provide, you've earned the right to ask. That's and right. You're not bashful, and you're not afraid to ask. And I'm sure neither is Kevin or Edward. I think everyone on your team is not afraid to ask, because you've done something great for these folks. And so I hope everyone really realizes, when you've created a moment of gratitude like you do with every client you have by having an experience, not a transaction, you've earned the right to ask them. And I think a lot of folks in our business still are uncomfortable with that. And to the guys and gals I know that kill it like you, they've overcome that fear of asking. Is there anything that happened in your business or life that caused you to get good at that? Because some people, it's not as easy as we make it sound like. You know what I mean?
I know it's always a tough conversation, and this is a relationship industry we're in. So cold calling on new agents is very uncomfortable. No matter if you've been doing it for 30 years or 6 months, it's just uncomfortable to have a fresh conversation and ask somebody for business. Maybe it's my experience, but I think my mindset is that we provide a service, and especially when we have loans that we save, right? Yeah. And people are very grateful. I will leverage that. Only because we have done a service, we've put a person in the home, and we've done a good thing. So why not use that to your benefit to try to get additional business? I say, and when we talk, we have team meetings every week, 2 times a week, and I ask, and I do it myself, do something uncomfortable in your business that makes you feel a little uncomfortable every day, whether it's talk to somebody new. The more you do it, the less nervous you'll be. So just keep doing it. And then at one point, it's like old hat.
Yeah.
So,
and I know that's true in your life, and it's true in my life. I've pounded a phone for countless years, hours, weeks, day, all day, and I hated it 20 years
right.
ago. But now it's just become who I am, and it's second nature, and I don't even really think about it. It just is what I do, and I think that's become true in your business on the asking side. So the takeaway, everyone who's watching, is do something uncomfortable and do it enough that it becomes comfortable.
Exactly.
And then it's no longer uncomfortable. And then it's just what you do. I love that. I love that. Do you see any, I mean, when you read these articles, interest rates doubling in the shortest time frame that they've ever doubled in the history of our industry, inventories at the levels they got to, new construction starts and then stops, and the price of lumber, and we've dealt with so much this year. Liquidity in the secondary market's been a huge problem. The value of these mortgages has plummeted over the last 6 months to levels we couldn't imagine 6 months ago. Are you worried about anything, or do you feel if guys and gals are out there pounding the rock every day that they're going to be able to build a business despite any of those conditions?
I'm on the side where if you still develop your relationships, you'll be fine. There's more business out there now than there was a year ago, I will say, because you have decreased competition. You have those companies that pop up whenever rates are low and they jump into the refinance market. They're laying off, they're shuttering their doors. So your competition is down. Now we have increased interest rates. I mean, that's the talk of every home buyer right now.
Right.
But you also have a marketplace. I'm in Bucks County, which is right outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And in our marketplace, our listings compared to last year are, I think it was 75% higher than this time last year, as far as listings are concerned.
Good.
Now, what we talk about is, sure, interest rates are higher and your payment might be higher, but weren't you the guy last year who was going to come in $60,000 over asking and still have that same payment at a lower interest rate?
Correct.
So it's a lateral move with interest rates, the way this market is moving. And I believe inventory will continue to increase as far as homes for sale. And we're seeing it in this area. And I don't know how it flows from maybe your marketplace to our marketplace, but we've seen that. And we are dealing with less buyers overall, but we're getting more of those agreements taken. So
I love it.
I think there's great opportunity. There's huge opportunity in this market right now because there's been so many loan officers that disappeared, took the easy money. Now they're trying to jump in. My competition is almost non-existent.
I love it. I love your mindset. I love your daily plan. I love everything about how you do your business. I got to ask this question though, and they're going to, we're nearing the time limit, but
sure.
With the massive amounts you're doing, are you still able to have some fun? Are you enjoying your life? Are you working 80 hours a week? Talk a little bit about that.
My quality of life has improved actually. Now that we have a very set structure within my team, I think I have more free time than I've ever had before, Kevin.
Good for you.
Everything's very well organized and well running. And with dealing, knowing our operational staff like I know now, it was a little bit different a couple of years ago, but there's so much communication right now. If I ever have something that goes sideways or we have a problem or an issue, I know exactly who to go to. So there's not a lot of aggravation. I have to say that. I'm not trying to, put on rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, no.
My life is pretty good.
Well, and that's so important too, because I've had years, and I'm sure you have, where we've done fairly well, but you wake up every day like, oh my God, it's another day, it's a grind, it's Groundhog Day, and you just not have that energy or passion anymore. And it feels like each time I do get to talk to you that things are pretty good, and what a great thing to be able to build and own and operate your own practice, but yet enjoy the fruits of what you've built, because
absolutely.
We only got so many days each guaranteed to us. And if we don't have some fun along the way and do the things we like to do, what are we doing it for?
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Money's great, but money just fuels life's dreams, right? I mean, it shouldn't be the reason we work. And I love that. My biggest pleasure in knowing you personally over the last 4 years has been that, because I think the day we met, you were under more stress. You were under more.
A little uptight, huh?
Well, yeah.
A little uptight.
And that's is what it is. That's life, right? We all go through it. But what my favorite thing isn't handing you an award that you made X amount of money. I know that's cool, but my favorite thing is that when I talk to Sue or others that are close to you, they say John's in a great place. And to me, that's the cool part. And to anyone watching, here's a guy that's able to build a $50+ million personal business and have other guys on his team and loan officers on his team that do a lot more volume too, and still enjoy his life. And to me, that's the home run. And so I just thank you so much for your generosity today. Anytime we get to learn from someone of your stature, it's a gift to us. And you might have just helped some guy in San Diego, California on something today, or you might have helped some gal in Boston, Massachusetts today. So I think that our industry is better when we don't view competitors as competitors. We view them as allies, and we say, let's all help one another and let's make everyone just a touch better, because the guys and gals that don't care about that, they won't be tuned into this stuff, And the guys and gals that do care about that, you're going to hear something that helps your team from someone here, and that's what it's all about, is helping each other have better, more freedom-filled lives. And I just thank you for you investing your time with us today. I got 3 or 4 takeaways that I'm going to implement something in my business off something I just learned today, and that's what this is all about.
Yep. I appreciate your time. Thanks for having me today.
All right, buddy. Have a great day, and go get 3 or 4 referrals today.
All right, gang. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks.